Welcome everyone to this another session of You Ask, We Answer with Praan. Nisha, the topic that we have today?
Yes, the topic for today's Yava is our brain and its unhealthy addiction to gadgets. Basically, we'll be talking about how easily we get addicted to technology and gadgets and how it's affecting our physical and mental health.
Okay. So welcome to volunteers here. So we are talking about gadget addiction today. That's what we are talking, which is the it is the biggest addiction today. So real world behaviors have changed, and we have started emote through gadgets, through phones, through laptop, through iPad, and all those things. So, our real world behavior is changing. It is affected because of gadgets. So this is the threat we have, and then we are trying to discuss today. So do you have any questions? I have a few questions, right, which has been sent by volunteers. We have questions, right, Nisha?
Yes, and we do have questions, but before I ask those questions, we can give the volunteers a chance to ask any other questions if they have.
Yeah. So we'll start first question, and we will. The questions have been sent by some of our volunteers. So start with the first question, and then you can have the rest follow there.
All right. The first question was asked to us was how to not get distracted by social media and other exciting apps when one is studying with the help of mobile phones.
Right. So during COVID time has been we've been out of we've been studying out for having phones, going our doing on iPad and laptop. It has become a and it has become like is finding it as comfort zone. Working on that, working at home, studying at home, taking break, all these things happening, but definitely a lot of things that come from that. There is a real interaction that needs to be. There are many things that we interact for us to learn. So these things, actually, with using so many gadgets, it actually determines our own language, body language, and our own thinking and all that. Definitely, use gadgets to right of its need to capacity that needs to be held with or to be. We should restrict it to that, and overusing of that going to give a lot of other problems, physical problems, mental problems, phobias, delusions, all these kind of things do happen. What I would say about comes to gadgets and their addiction. Something that each and every one of us, all of us need to fight to keep aware that we have to use only for the its use and misuse. So yeah, any questions? Anybody would ask us any questions? I'm here to answer it for you. Rishi, I think Akshita call a little. Akshita, question for us? Okay, Nish, it seems you can go on with the next question.
Yes, Anya. One interesting question is we all know how gadgets affect our sleep schedule. So how do we sleep properly without the urge of having to look at our phones and our laptops?
Right. So if I have to answer this question to you, I would like to go about a little of something that I came So I came across the cardiologist. He's a big cardiologist. He has very schedules, extremely busy. And when I went to meet him, he's of mine too. When I went to meet him, and he always told me, call me, please don't watch something like that. So I just met. I said, why, doc? Why is it that you're not? It's so easy to access your WhatsApp. And he just showed me his little phone, and he told me, this is the phone I'm holding right now. I do not have the latest phones that are available in the market. I just use a simple phone. This for me to just to communicate with my nurses, my office, hospital. If my patients need to meet me, they connect my my or my receptionist. If they know my number, they will just call me just a call away. So it was something that uh, you know it actually threw light to me, and I thought to myself how it's simple, and then it's as it is. You need to talk. That's what is needed. So I don't see why we having these gadgets. So your question, Nisha, okay, how do we stop this kind of addiction to these gadgets? I would say that it's learned behavior. We have spoken about this also. So if we have to make as a conscious practice to keep it away. We do not check if we read our post, looked at our picture, even thumbs up. These emojis nowadays become, or you finish the sentence, there is an emoji waiting there to say expression right now. It determines what you're trying to type. So all the things there, though although these innovations are for our good class, it is a learning, but it is also an addiction. So keeping it away, consciously away, and that I not be touching the gadget next 60 minutes till I finish this. To say 1 hour of my sleep, I'm going to put aside. Then I'm going to sleep. Going back to the old conservative of reading a book, going to sleep, is something that we need to practice to bring about that change in us. So that change first has to come. It has to come by us making the kind of discipline that we do, and the discipline first starts when you start making changes for yourself by telling conscious that I'm going to keep this as and I'm going to do this activity right now. I'm going to come back to this. Is something that we need to do it, and it is a practice that needs to be followed for us to get the kind of discipline that we want to do with what to achieve with the. Did I answer the question for you, Nick? Nisha?
Yes, Anu, you answered my question.
Okay.
Uh, Volunteers, if you
See,
guys have any questions.
connecting. Chandana, connect to audio. Do you have a question for us? More than happy to interact here. We make as many platforms as possible for us to connect with our volunteers. We have only a session, and found all of us being so interactive. So we decided that we'll make we answer that way. Just send these kind of as the question. So we'll be more than delighted if you have questions for us. We'll be more than happy to answer it. Yes, Nisha, you were something?
Yes, I was just informing the volunteers that if they're not comfortable unmuting and asking questions, they can always send it in the chat box and I'll read it out for them.
Right. That is also the session. You just put it on the chat box and we'll do it for you. Okay, while they do that, Nisha, you on with the next question.
One interesting question is how to deal with FOMO, the fear of missing out when you're away from your
Yeah,
phones.
right. So especially FOMO, so much the names are coined the present generation. They want to be everywhere. They don't want to miss out or miss on something. They don't want to miss on what they're doing. They don't want to on what is happening in the another part of the world. So this is something that need to be there to know, need for the curiosity that's around to know what one another is doing and to be part of one life is something that we are right now is becoming a challenge because it's becoming an addict. So, this kind of an addiction is what the gadget is bringing. Like we already have spoken about it, it's about unconscious action. Unconscious action, not even conscious. Is not even conscious. That person is trying to on this. So it's an unconscious action. This is what we are trying to, all of us trying to get with. And FOMO mainly is the need to know what the person is doing and to be everywhere, to be, be known everywhere. So these are the, so we need to first build the kind of confidence in ourselves. We need to bring in confidence in that we are able to sustain ourselves. We are able to achieve, we are happy with our own achievement. We do not need to see the other person. We do need acknowledgement all the time. We do not we tap on all the time to say, you're doing great, you're doing great. That is not how we ourselves. In psychology, in a person's personality, what's the most need is that person is confident in themselves. And the confidence comes from the person building their own character in that I'm doing what I'm doing it my pace, and when I'm doing at my pace, I'm doing good at my pace. This is how we keep on building it. So this is one of the ways we can overcome FOMO. So just say that, but we have another question here. How to stop constant urge to check your mobile phone time it up from notification? That's Isha Prakash. Thank you, Isha, for this question. So we were right now talking about it. It's a unconscious act. That's what we are doing. When there is a small beep there, that message so connect so connect gadget that you go and check happening, what person has said, want to answer. See, the way that we can is kind of is by trying to consciously. I'm going to again my friend cardiologist. He said it was too much of a distraction. He, connected to so many people. It was actually distracting from doing my own work. I'm only a tool this profession mine, and I can do profession, or I do my skill only not distracted. So I do not need this kind of distraction, and that's why I kept a gadget, kept aside these gadgets. I am not on WhatsApp. I am not on Facebook. But again, we are talking about somebody who is able to have that control. So definitely, I would not say you should try to be that, but definitely keeping a gap away, liking it, a conscious effort. From this time is screen time. This time is my time. This time is my catch time. This time that I'll pick the phone and speak to someone, chat on chat box. I'll speak to someone, or I go out and it's real somewhere. These are the kinds that we have to consciously make an effort for us to do, and that's the only way we can I wouldn't say that be away from the gadget, or we don't need the gadget. We can build real relationships by taking a gadget away. The question was okay, Sha? Yeah, you have another thing. One of my friends is too much into this. How much I could gently remind her that it's unhealthy. So how could I gently remind her? So again, we are talking about so many neurological diseases that are, as related due to gadgets. there are problems of hallucination, illusion, memory loss, creativity. All things are now affected to a person because that person is, because of these gadgets, neurological problems, problems with our senses. Our senses are affected because of the constant use of the gadget and the activity that comes out of the they also say this has a radiology there, the light that is out of it affecting your eyes, your senses, your skin, your fingertips. So these are the kind of things that we can really say, like there are so many platforms that these kind of things can be educated to your friend. You can tell your friend the unhealthy habits of this, the what happens when it's as good as an addiction, that is to alcohol or to cigarettes or to nicotine. The same. Gadget addiction as bad as nicotine. Is as being in alcohol. So these are the things that you can in a lighter. Maybe something you can do, friend, is you can tell your friend, let's hobby. Maybe you and your friend together can join a hobby. You can maybe join a running class. You can so many things that come inside, come in now. Other than other than meditation, other than running and walking, there is something called animal crawling. I think because I'm addressing this answer to a lot of youngsters here, I was quite surprised to understand what animal crawling was. So when I went to animal crawling was actually you are to like an animal, human being trying to crawl crocodile or like a monkey, anything like it. Actually, when you look at it, it looks so simple, so funny, but to do that just shows how you need strength to do that. You need to be that kind of position. So I would just say that to your friend. You can maybe join her along with and ask her to join in a hobby of anything, this kind of a activity. If you want something soothing, something to do with pottery, painting, reading clubs, anything of that is something you can say like a healthy habit, which can tell your and and tell how get over unhealthy habit gadget. Sure, that was a good question that you asked. Any more questions from anybody?
Ma'am, how to stop the addiction while we are eating lunch? You keep binging on series or watch TV or news. Stop that.
So yeah, I thank you for that question. It is something that it's actually becoming more. These gadgets becoming quite a monster. It is actually consumed our lives. It has come in front of us. We have started with watching TV and eating. Then it's come to each one has got one gadget in their hand, and one is one series, different series, and each one has got their plugs, and there is no conversation happening at all. So ask me how you overcome. I would just like how old ways of systems are, slow and steady is the race. Just say little at a time, keeping your gadget away for a little time. Think that this is family time, even if you don't need to be the head of the family. That you can start to say that let's all put gadgets away and have an interactive meal. Let's talk to and let's understand what we did today, a day or if breakfast table, tell what you're going to be, what challenges you're going to be in the day, or what that you want to achieve in the day today. So these kind of missions will bring some kind of a food the rest of them understand for yourself too. If you want to be, say, you are a student who's alone in a hostel, you have work and you have a living by yourself. So a gadget that gives you company. But say self-introspection is very good. You can just away that overcome it and overcome a gadget addiction little by little. But how you change and actually introspect within yourself that what are you going to do? Where are you in your career? If you're stuck, where are you in this point? What do you think you can improve in yourself? These kind of self-motivating things help you to gadget away. Sanjana,
Yes.
it is difficult, but a little always. There's another question. Thumb. Let's give it a couple of minutes again. Have we got volunteers in, Nisha?
Yes, Anu. One of the questions somebody had asked last time was, what is thumb syndrome?
So I have to ask that question, answer that question. Do you know who asked that question,
Judith.
Nisha?
Judith had asked that question.
Thanks, Judith. Thank you for that question. So the thumb syndrome basically happens to our technique, to our wrist and our thumb, the screen. It is a medical condition. It has intervention thumb syndrome. So the thing is that these happen due to screen, our latest gadgets, and these that there are tendons and nerves and tissues that are in finger get affected because of the excess use of these fingertips to and how fast ever we are using those things. These are the senses. These senses are affected and needs to be treated. And it is something that is not something can be ignored. It's medical intervention. If you have someone going through this, definitely need. If you feel pain in your thumb, if you hand in your wrist, you feel that you have numbness in your fingertips, please you medical intervention for that, because it's a medical and it's treated in manner, and all to our neurosis, our tendons, our tissues and fingertips. We have a question here from maladaptive daydream addiction to devices be treated. So again, maladaptive dreaming and addiction again comes from imaginations, and the imagination again comes from the kind of exposure that we have. There are so many screens, so many come into our screens, kind of like I spoke earlier, beginning of the that there's a lot. There's we tend get disillusioned by this kind of image. When crop and it says, imagine you are, or something like that. So all these kind of things are all because of these small, they say, screen and things. So related again, I would just say that you need to always self check yourself and have a self yourself when you are keeping yourself present, which is the most important thing. Always try to be one step ahead of us. We are not where we actually should. Because of that, we find all these maladaptive daydreaming kind of addiction. So I would just say that by being in touch with our own sense, with our own self, will help us to cope it better. What can we do to lessen it, the daydreaming? Again, like I just now told, we need to be in the present. We need to be in our own present. We need to we ourselves every day. We need to check on ourselves to know where we are, and we need to look at ourselves in the place we are instead of thinking that we are one step ahead. So these kind of self-check will help us to lessen the daydream. Focusing on something else, focusing on the present, making conscious notes, writing a journal, making notes down, making a timetable. All these things will help you to get away from daydreaming and more present. Any more questions?
Anu, Shivani had raised her hand.
Yes, go on, Shiva.
You, I just want to add a point how you explained that we reduce our screen timing and distractions one step at a time. So I could also suggest something like reward system for yourself. If you are working, if you're studying, you can organize yourself. You know, I will focus on my work for 30 minutes, then probably 5 minutes break, check the notifications on the screen. Maybe this will be a big step how and not constantly check our phone, and also have a reward system like 30 minutes complete focus, and then I can take minutes of the break. I think help. It actually.
Thank you, Shivani. That's really, you know, nice. It's a nice way to put it. Yes, we need to reward ourselves, whichever we are, in whichever we are, whichever part of we are. As long as we in progress, we need to reward us. We, again, these gadgets, again, social media, and all these things. We are coming back to. I'm coming to say, always look for reward from outside. Actually have to praise ourselves. We need to reward ourselves. Definitely, that Shivani is telling, it's a work, 5 minutes of break, 30 minutes of work, 5 minutes of break, some kind of reward. Yes, it's the first towards what we do. We cannot look at it that we'll be away from for 1 week. We cannot do that. But like Shivani says, 30 minutes of work and 5 minutes of break, check what's happening, and again go back. Slowly that can be extended for a little more hours. And that kind of a thing, like you said, Shivani, work for you. I'm sure it will work for the volunteers. Thank you so much, Shivani, for that. That was really nice. Okay, Isha has another question. Yes, I used to do that in my exams. The reward system, it works well. It helps in focusing the task at hand. Absolutely, where we are all trying to say. We have to see what is the task in hand rather than thinking of what are 10 steps ahead of it, or what are we or what we have skipped 10 steps behind us. That's the only way that we can do this. Thank you, Isha, for sharing that. Any more questions? Isha, do you have a question? Any questions that volunteers are said earlier? Is there anything you just want to ask now?
Yes, Anu, there's a question that asks how can parents help discipline their children in regards of gadgets? What role can a parent play in this?
Uh, I'm just going to say that discipline comes from everyone. Parents themselves need to have discipline. So definitely parents have disciplined pattern, it need to bring about children also. Like I mentioned earlier, no gadgets in meal times, no gadgets in sleep time is something that you can inculcate in children, you can inculcate in young adults, you can do that. And if you practice, like you the change that you want to see, how you do it, you first see the change. You do not do things. You as an adult, you keep thinking, you show that how you keep a gadget away and then you relax, go to bed. How you keep a gadget away and as an adult you have your meal. Bringing about this kind of habit will slowly get inculcated into the young adults and they will also follow. But again, I was just go back to as in many I would just 20, 30 years when tea just come and like that was there was on the TV it had activities for children was meant for children. Whether there was a cartoon or there was children play there targeted the time that children would watch. So there was a particular time a day children got to have that screen time because that during that time that activity on the screen was made focused to children. And after that, after 8 o'clock, it was adults. Maybe it was a drama, it was a family drama or something like that. So all some kind of a target audience was always captured, and that is now missing. We've got so many channels and so many ways, YouTube platforms that not we know where to stop because it's all recorded. We it whenever. So these are the kind of that are a challenge today. I would just say as a parent, it's difficult, but if you to bring in kind of a discipline and say that these are things that can be watched at this time of day and this is what is allowed and having some parental role over can be viewed and not viewed also help a lot in having some kind of discipline to media or to gadgets. Basically, we have come on to all gadgets because it has become a new form of life. It has become a new exposure. It has given us a new kind of view to the world that we have forgotten the older ways of doing things. I'm sure as youngsters, we have done walking in the park or playing in the park or playing with neighbors. All those things were something that was very normal. And nowadays, that has been skipped and all that's been not followed, and now it is all about playing your gaming and all things are what now. And as parents, very very difficult because there is a peer pressure. One child has, the other child doesn't have. Your child feels that that child is not getting. Other child has got those so-called, they call it the privileges of having that gadget. So parents also fall these kind of pressure. Just say buying things is all right, but putting a screen time, discipline time, putting a table for screen time, putting a table for gadget, like he said, the simple way of following like that you can put tables and whatever thing can be followed to restrain ourselves from being so addicted. The previous imam, the previous volunteer said, applied from last 2 years. I reduced screen time nearly 50%. I can't understand. Can you just read? Can you just speak up?
Yeah, but I'm previous theory, whatever volunteer said, I already applied it, and previously I was using my phone and 9 hours. Now I use the screen time only 50% because 3 or 4 hours now I can use every day.
That's really good. Yeah. That's good that you have been following the same thing. That's it is all about bringing our self-discipline, all about making our own reward systems. As Shivani had said, that we have started something, how we will stop it and how we overcome, and that's a kind of discipline that we are trying to do. Yes, that's really good. Thank you. Isha, yes, you have a question. Please ask us. I think you need to mute yourself. Isha, can you just him please? Isha?
Yeah, audible.
Yes, you are.
Okay, I just remember something about someone asked some few years ago, like 2 years maybe, I started focusing on myself. Things I used to do, I want to do, and all the things like personal growth of stuff. So I realized, so I stopped using social media for a while. Slowly, I rarely use it, and now today I genuinely, do not feel more at sometimes, and I use, but I don't, that mind I used to have in high school. I don't have like if I'm friends and they had. It's not that kind of mentality anymore, and the FOMO I used to feel in school, it's not here anymore. It's really not. It's not even pretending to care about. I do not feel left out at all. So it it works for someone else too. That if they cut them for using social media for a while, so they could come over that.
Right. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Isha, for sharing. That is really inspiring. You do not know the word you have shared now. Much hope to someone else. So much we don't realize when we say or speak about our own personal experience and how we overcome it. How you said, don't need to check on it. It all comes from having self-worth, right, Isha? It's all about having self and feeling worthy of yourself, and that is what helps us overcome the need to be a FOMO, to know and to be everywhere where everyone is, fear of losing out on what's happening one another in somebody else's life. When you are happy in your own personal space, most likely do not need to know what makes the other person happy. So Isha, it's really inspiring. Your words are so inspiring. You really don't know how many people would like to hear it, a personal story of your kind. I really say, good luck to you and congratulations on your journey towards yourself.
Thank you. And I want to say that I'm not trying to be rude to my friends or other people, but it's like that I have stopped caring what other people are doing more than, I focus on what I or friends are doing with me, not like without me. I'm more on the stuff around me.
Right.
I've left what I do in, so it feels much better now. That's the thing.
Right. So rightly you said, Isha, you that you're not seeing, but then you're seeing what's around you and more focusing on yourself. And that's it's a very, very nice thing to share. I hope that all of us are able to achieve it. It is as simply as you put, Isha. It needs a lot of motivation and self-control to achieve what you have achieved. I really would say thank you for sharing that, and I'm so happy that you are in that space in your life, and we'll wish that all of us can be that too. Thank you. Yes. Is there any more questions? Our volunteers, we are so happy to have you all here and interact in this manner. Nisha, is there any other questions that maybe you can just read out?
Anu, somebody had raised their hand. Somebody named Pradeep.
Okay.
Ma'am, I was just appreciating the other person who spoke.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. That is, that's very kind of you. So although we have to do our work through our laptops and we need to be connected to the gadgets, because that has become the world right now. And after COVID, it has become more that people are being told to stay at home and work. A little bit is changing nowadays. People are asked to come. With all these things, all we can say is that to limit our gadget time and make more activities with ourselves, take a break, not to be in front of the computer or the screen all the time. And if we leave the laptop, then you think that it's your time to relax and you're watching some maybe Netflix or Prime or Hotstar or something like that. So understanding that that is not the only region for entertainment, there are other things that you can enjoy during our COVID time. This is what OTT became the main focus in our life. We thought that this is the way that we could see the world. Everybody binged on watching movies and watching TV. But also during that time, there were a lot of hobbies also that was inculcated. We had a lot of bakers that happened out of their kitchen. We had so many people who had so many creative things that they did. A lot of people came to know that they are so good at board games, and they just found that they started to understand as a couple, as a spouse, they could understand one another better. They had the time to actually spend time with a child that was growing. So there are so many things also that happened during COVID time. So again, when the focus has come for us to be out in this world, and we hopefully have put COVID behind us and we have nothing stopping us, we should definitely go back to what we have inculcated, and we have to always look for new hobbies, something that helps us to grow. And these are the only ways that we can overcome gadget addiction. Gadget addiction is like any other addiction. So we need to work on it, and constantly working on it will definitely help us overcome the kind of addictions that we can have towards our gadgets. Yes, Isha, go ahead.
Hi, I just want to share about how doing activities in real life really works well if you have addiction to social media. I remember when COVID in the first stage in March, I guess 2020, COVID came into being. I remember that. Sorry, but I used to spend a lot of time binging Netflix because I thought that this time will never again, and this kind of invitation we have got, and well, probably it'll be like a month or two. I won't get this time again, so I spent like almost 2 months binging, and I realized that COVID is going, so I really started doing something else except binging all the time. So I started baking. I got into art again after fifth standard. I got into art again.
Okay.
And I started working out, reading. I did so much and realized I wasn't even using my phone at all. Like I left watching so much I used to watch in those few months. I left everything, and I was on doing so many activities. Till now, I've created such good art. I was astonished to see that I left art for so many years, and I'm now capable of doing it. I started baking. I was nowhere. Like we got a new oven that time, so I didn't know anything about baking, and now my parents are so proud of me that अरे कोविड की वजह से तो तुम बेकर ही बन गए हो, and I realized that I put social media or like my phone aside, and I was capable of doing so many things. So it really works if people are putting time into activities, physical activities. I don't
Right.
think so. They they'll be, missing out on using mobile phones, because I
Right.
think it's not just me personally, but I think many people are forgetting the phone if they are putting much more time in these physical activities.
Right. I agree with you. That was so nice. Yes. Baking and cooking and painting and doing art is a beautiful way to do. Also, having physical activity is becoming a challenge nowadays because everything has become smartphone, smart this, smart that, that we are forgetting that we need to physical activity. Physical activity is bringing about a lot of threats to our physical health. So it is very important that we remind ourselves, remind the people around us that we need to have physical activity also, even if it is going to be washing the dishes, even if it's going to be that you're going to washing your clothes, if you're going to be cooking, it is some kind of an activity. It is brain stimulating. It gives out some hormones in you, and learning something new will always give you a lot of insight, keeps you positive. And definitely we forget that because we are so addicted to these gadgets, we've forgotten that we need to have physical activity, and that's becoming a big threat nowadays. So definitely, like the way you said, Isha, your parents are very happy, we are very, very happy you are our volunteer and you're sharing us real stories here. That's what we want. We are here as a first responder. Your job, your role as a first responder is only to inspire, for you to be able to speak about all these things, and also to to have positive attitudes to life. And similarly, at the same time, speaking about what kind of uh, suffering people are going through, being aware of, speaking about it, enabling people to understand if they're going through something. That to say, you're normal to feel this, you're normal to feel fear, you're normal to feel pain, you're normal to feel anxiety right now. It is all right. It's just you need to speak it out, and you don't need to fight this all alone. You don't need to think that it is only your world. There is a world outside where you can share, and that's what we're trying to do. Because as we all know that as much as we are going toward these smart phones and smart gadgets, there is an increasing rise of suicide in all over the world, and that is becoming more because of being thinking that you should be in that particular manner, that you're not being acknowledged. If you have put a picture of yourself in Facebook, how many likes have you got? You compare with the same picture put by your friend and how many likes she got. So these are the kind of unnecessary kind of a threats that we put in ourselves, and unnecessary kind of anxiety. You just feel that you start becoming self-critical about yourself. You think your eyes are too small, you think your eyebrows are too thick, you're thinking your ears are too big, you think that you're too thin, or you're thinking you're too fat. This kind of self-critical things is actually bringing in so much of anxiety and having so much of threat to mental state of mind, that it is increase in suicide also. Because that is, if you see in the graph, between the age of 10 to 14, I had read it just the other day, there is increase in suicide. It is just a vulnerable age. It's a vulnerable age where you do not need to have any kind of a peer pressure. And the next jump in the age 15 to 22, and that is again an age where you don't need, as long as you know that you are doing your work well, you have so much of positivity in you, you are able to keep your own timetable, you are able to reward yourself the little things you have done, and that is all that is needed for us to do. So this kind of an addiction has its own implications in life, and we see that is happening in our society. So people like Isha, you can encourage people to overcome, and how Shivani said, little bit of rewarding here and there. Yes, by keeping away, how I think Imam also kept away, and how he has been to overcome 50%. So these are the kind of things that we need to teach. We need to speak in our society. We speak community, talk to your cousins, talk to your siblings, talk to your friends, somebody's brother, somebody's sister. This is what we need to do, and say that we are enough. We are enough. That is all it is. I am enough for myself. I am doing what I am doing at my own pace, and I am doing the best I can at the best moment that I have today. And that is the kind of the race that we need to have. That is a kind of growth that we need to see, because my growth can be sustained or attained or even calculated only by myself. Somebody else cannot calculate my growth. So have and take control of your own life, and have control over your own process, and acknowledge, reward your growth. Like Shivani said, you can reward yourself. You can give yourself little rewards. Like Isha just shared with us how she has rewarded herself by, again, going back to art, and how she has found out that she's so good at art. So these are all the things that we can do. We cannot look for outside for people to acknowledge us, to credit us, to give us thumbs up or give us an emoji, giving us so many likes. These are not the things that is needed, and this is what we are going for. And it is a threat to all of us. It is a threat to human beings. So we need to know that we need to self-sustain ourselves, be positive, self-acknowledge ourselves, keep goals for ourselves, and reach those goals, reward. And that's what we can do to ourselves. So addictions to gadgets in one manner is threatful, and in the other manner, FOMO is also as addictive, because that is what the younger generation is focusing at. That they need to be seen, they need to know, and that is what is they think it is most needed. But no, it is not. Just keeping with yourself, thinking for yourself, and being self-satisfied is the most will be the right path to go forward. Yes, Isha, you have a question, or you have something to say?
I just want to add that be it an addiction of anything, I think that mostly it goes back to having a strong willpower, putting a restraint of when to stop and when to start. It really matters a lot, because if you're not restraining yourself, if you do not have a strong willpower, these things can be addictive. It's very easy for any addiction, not just devices, be it anything. So I think having a strong willpower really works out.
Right. Yeah, that's correct. Definitely willpower plays a big role. Yeah.
And just in the end, I want to thank Praan for creating a safe space for sharing all of this, because I remember growing up as a kid, I used to think that I'm all alone in this. And as you said, there are a lot of people who are struggling,
Yes.
and it's not just
Yes.
us. So
Yes.
maybe it's
Yes.
a little bit of selfish to think that, I guess, but I really do feel safe to share and to feel to have this reassurance that I'm not alone and I'll be
Yes.
able to get over it. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Isha. That's what, like we said in our program, as we started with our orientation also, what we are trying to do is bring about empathy, and that's all we can do. And that's what the world most needs. And that's what's the most missing in this world. Empathy is something that is missing. So when we are able to spread our empathy, give a hearing ear, say that we're not alone, have a group, have a support to say that we understand what you're going through, and we are here to hear, and that's what is all needed. Yeah, thank you, Isha, for that. Yes, Imam, yes, you can go ahead. What do you have to say?
Yeah, actually, I have sent 3 questions yesterday. I didn't show any response from that questions. So may I ask that question now?
Yes, you can go ahead. I think Nisha was waiting for you to ask these questions. Yes, Imam, you can, that you're here, you can go ahead and do it. But we have another 10 minutes
Nowadays,
of this. We need to wrap it up in 10 minutes, Imam. So quickly you can ask.
Sure. Yeah. Nowadays, actually, social media makes us everyday superstar. So how in this consumerism world, these the capitals are using our instinct? So is it possible? You already explained in a various manner, but in this technology, cutting edge technologies is, so how could we avoid this instinct? Because the capital uses this instinct to grow their business. So is it very easy that what you explained in earlier possible way?
I think out of what I understand, your question is you're telling that they are using the social media to develop their business. Is that what you're trying to say, Emma?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
we all uses Facebook,
right.
Instagram,
Yes,
WhatsApp.
yes,
Unnecessary use actually,
yes.
and they
So,
use our instincts also.
right, right. So, like I earlier said, we can have a different business account. Like you have a personal account, you can have a business account, and you can open your business account on your. You can have a separate phone. You can have a separate gadget for it, and you can use it only during work hours, and you only for work. I do understand that Instagram and Facebook and WhatsApp has become another medium for advertising and developing your business. But again, like it is another business tactic, it has to in that manner only. It has been used for that tactics, and it has been used for that much time alone. So that is the way that we can deal with it. But it is something that it's another innovative way of developing business. We cannot fight it, but we can always control the use of it. We have another 4 minutes to end this meeting. If there's any more, yeah, thank you, Imam. Yes, thank you. I think we've answered a good set of questions. We were so happy for the volunteers who came up and asked these questions, people who sent us these questions, and we look forward to you all for the next You Ask, We Answer. The end of this month, we have the huddle session. We like to have the interaction again. This is again the we are finding as many platforms as possible for us to interact with the volunteers. So we like all your participation. We are so happy for you all to have sent these questions, and I am so happy to have answered these questions, for given you these answers. I thoroughly enjoyed yourself, and I hope you all did. So thank you all. Thank you, volunteers, and see you all in the huddle session coming up. Okay. See you all and take care, and we'll see you in the huddles next time. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Nisha, you can stop recording.